Hello everyone. Just got done resurrecting my old computer. It's been down for probably about 4 months now. One of the 10,000 RPM Raptor drives finally went out. That drive was bought in 2007 or 8, I believe, so they usually only last 5 years, but I guess I did okay with that. But I had two Raptor drives in it, a 150 and a 36 or 37, something like that. The smaller one's the one that had the operating system on it and went. But I completely cleaned it all up. I bought a 500 gigabyte 7200 RPM Western Digital. That's for my storage and pictures, MP3s, all that. Put the operating system on the 150 Raptor. I built this in 2007. One of the last 8-bit boards, I guess. It was right after they went to Universal 8-bit. But it's been a pretty good computer. It's a 6000 plus AMD processor, 64-bit. The video card, I'm trying to remember here. It's a ATI Radeon X1950 Pro. This one here is a HIS Ice Q3. It's overclocked. It does pretty good. One problem I had with this motherboard is the chipset got so hot on this thing I had to put a fan on it, and of course with the video card you can't put a fan on the regular way, so I had to mount a fan blowing on that thing because it does get super hot. One thing I never did like about this board. But the power supply is a PC Power and Cooling. It's a 610. I bought that in probably 2008 and put it in. It's a Coolant's water-cooled case. I pulled the radiator out and completely cleaned it up. It was completely clogged with dust. I went ahead and cleaned it the same way the heat and air people do. Took it out and put it in the sink with bleach, Dawn dish soap, and hot water. Put it in there and soaked it for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And then rinsed it off, and it just dissolves all that stuff. It actually makes the aluminum all shiny and clean again, but you have to completely rinse it and keep rinsing it and make sure you get that off, or it'll keep eating the aluminum. Did the same thing, ran some bleach through the inside with an old fountain pump, and then ran water with a hose for about 10 minutes through it to make sure I got all the bleach out. There's the control unit for the Coolants. That runs the pump and the digital display on the front, and the 3 fans for the radiator. Oh, let me see here. There's the pump and the reservoir. But yeah, this thing was pretty well dusty. I mean, I spent a lot of time cleaning it all up. Took out the video card. You couldn't even see anything in there. It was just all clogged up with dust. Completely disassembled it. Had to remove it from the card and cleaned up all the old heatsink compound and used alcohol and a Q-tip, cleaned it up and put some new Arctic Silver on there. But it took me a couple hours to clean the thing up. I guess I was bored, didn't have nothing to do, but it looks pretty well like new again. But I don't know, I guess I've got another computer I use for gaming, so I don't know, I think I'm just gonna use this for a virtual server or do something with it. But I couldn't just not do nothing with it. It was a pretty good computer when I built it. Let me see here. Yeah, I've got the cold cathode, the UV on these fans. They light up really bright blue. And then there's a 12-inch cold cathode. And then there's another one down here. So this all lights up pretty good, and all of the green stuff I put over the wires. And there's a window side for the case, but here's the fans on the top. And then let me see here, there's the display. Well, I guess that about, oh, also I had to replace the tubing. All of the tubing was discolored like a really greenish yellow, and it was hard as a rock. And I know you're supposed to change this coolant's coolant. You're supposed to change it like every year or 2 years, and I went way longer than that. And also, which is a no-no, I'm using copper and aluminum. But I gotta say one thing, the coolant that Coolants sells, it's some damn good stuff, because there's no corrosion on that copper. It's shiny and just like it was when it was brand new. And there really wasn't any gunk that came out of the radiator when I flushed it. So that's one thing I do got to say is their corrosion inhibitors they have in their coolant is pretty damn good, because it went a good 5 hours for 5 years without being changed. So, you know, and the no-no of having copper and aluminum. And I really didn't have no problems with it. So I think when I build my next water cooling, whatever it is, even if it isn't Coolants, I'm going to definitely use their coolant. Okay, the room temperature is 21.6 Celsius. This has been running now for about 45 minutes. The processor isn't overclocked right now, it's just running at the stock 3 gigahertz, and the video card isn't overclocked. But I've been running the little benchmark in the ATI tool, and it's at 54 Celsius, and it's been running about 45 minutes. Shows it's running about 603 frames per second is the average. Let's see if I can zoom in here. The CPU is running at 39C, system temperature is 30, and the power supply section on the motherboard is running at 44. It's running a lot cooler now that I've taken it apart and cleaned the radiator. It definitely needed to be done after 6 years. And also the video card was so clogged up that running this after 30 minutes it would be up at like 76 Celsius, and right now it's running 53, so cleaning it sure helped. But that's what it looks like at night. Now one of my cold cathode for the top fan there has gone out. It went out about 2 years ago. I need to replace it, I guess. But that fan looks pretty good with the cold cathode lighting it up. Those were, I'm trying to remember, Cooler Master fans that are only like 21 dB. They were like a low noise fan. And then that fan on the power supply heatsink, that came off of an old ATI video card from like probably 99 or 2001. And took it out of the junk box and put it on there. It looks pretty good with the new tubing. That tubing was so old and brittle and yellowed. So it's back up and running, and seems to be doing pretty good. I forgot to get the water temperature in there. It's running 84 Fahrenheit. Let's see what it is Celsius. 28 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature of the water block on the processor.